Hello everyone, Maurice in here. Welcome to Tanks Invest, where we're going to be talking about investing, finance, and personal development. For today's video is for entertainment purposes only. What we're going to be talking about today is going to be talking about Palantir, ticker PLTR. I'm going to give you guys a brief technical analysis on where I think the stock is going from here, my target entry price point, the optimal price point for us to get into the stock, and as a side bonus, my price target for the year end of 2021 as well. So stay tuned, stick around, and let's make some money together. So my name is Maurice and I'm a former investment banker at JP Morgan and then subsequently a private equity investor for about half a decade of my life, and most recently a tech executive at a Silicon Valley based technology company. So basically spent about a decade of my life in 50-50 of both on Wall Street on the finance side and then subsequently on the operational side in the technology sector for about close to in combined a decade of my life. So now I come here on YouTube, try to utilize the knowledge and the experience that I've acquired in this one decade of my life, try to help people around the world to reach the financial the freedom, the success that we are striving for. All I'm really looking for you guys to do is to hit that like button below, that subscribe button below, and that little bell notification. It helps me, it helps with my family, it helps with my initiative, and most importantly, helps with the YouTube algorithm to spread the good work that we try to do here, so we can all rise together successfully and financially. All right, so taking a look at the technical analysis for Palantir PLTR. Before I dive into the charts and the technical analysis, I want to talk about just what the company does, right? I think Palantir has this, misconceptions on Wall Street of, should we be valuing this company as a software company? Should we be valuing this as like a consulting company? And as just a historical basis, software companies tend to trade at northward of like 12 to 14 times or even higher, depending on what type of software you're talking about. And consulting businesses tend to trade on a lower multiple, at like single digits, I think about like 4 to 5 times or sometimes even like 8 times, but definitely not as high as like a 12 times multiple. And I'm talking about like EV to EBITDA multiple. And Palantir is trading at a northward of a relatively high multiple at 146 PE ratio on a forward basis, which is demanding a relatively high multiple. So I think people are have this misconception that this is company, what is this company really does, and I don't think most people really understand what this company specifically does. And I personally am still learning about this business as well, but my understanding is that so Palantir has basically two products. It has a product called Gotham and also has a product called Foundry. And what the company does on a high level perspective is that they make business analytical solutions, like a software tool, providing like the public sector or like government agencies their business intelligence on either identifying a gap in operations or going through a large set of data to basically synthesize and extract data to gain intelligence or a recommendation on what to do as the next step. So currently, Palantir is expanding to the commercial side of the business. Historically, it's mostly just been working with government contracts or government agencies, like the CIA, the FBI, or like the U.S. Army or like the U.S. Navy or whatever. Now is slowly expanding its product offering and its services to the commercial side, like most of the Fortune 500 companies, basically applying comparable usage on going in through into the infrastructures of these companies, going into these large sets of data of these companies that they provide to Palantir. And what Palantir does is use a special unique sauce to extract the data and subsequently distill and go through the large sets of data to find out specific insights or unique insights that these companies are not able to find, and then subsequently provide a recommendation to these corporations or these companies on what's the right optimal solutions to take us to the next step. So serve as very much like a hybrid consulting role, but with their unique, technological capability as well. Okay. I think Wall Street don't really how to value them as well. But if you truly understand the potential of this business, just shifting from the municipal side, the government side to the commercial side, I think the range is truly limitless. I think the potential for this business is extremely wide. I know on a financial perspective right now, I think it's definitely demanding a more of a high valuation. But going forward, I definitely see this company growing in the near future. So taking a look at the technical analysis right now, I'm looking at the daily chart right now. And you could see that ever since its IPO, it was at the $9 range, and then ever since it's kind of pumped up, with the Wall Street bet folks. We saw that whole craziness, and then went up all the way to the $32 level, and then kind of consolidated, right? And then I think this is like when the GameStop and the whole Wall Street bet, crazy euphoric pump that occurred, and it basically pushed the stock by double, almost like from $23 all the way to $45. And then ever since then, since we hit Q1, with the whole tech rotation, the growth stock rotation, to more like the recovery stocks, and also with respect to the yields, the 10-year treasury yield that's been spiking, and also people just because Q1 is typically a tax season uh, for 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 folks in the U.S. I know this year we pushed the tax date to May 17th, but that also gives you another factor into the sell-off here, and you could see that ever since then we have went down from 45 all the way down back to the 23 $41 level. And you can see that that's a major resistance line that we're currently seeing right now. And basically back to where we were when we were in December last year, all the way down to the November time period when it just IPO. So you could see that we've been forming a double bottom, and we've been just kind of trading sideways ever since. Look at the RSI, we can see that we are, it's not completely oversold, but I think it's definitely, due for an uptrend. And you could see that on the MACD is definitely on the reversal trend right now. You could see that the MACD has, has crossed the signal line, which is a good indicator for a bullish trend going forward. My predictions for this stock, right, going forward, I think we're going to continue to trade sideways, and I think their demo day is coming up soon, in the next, I believe, in the next week or two, and then earnings is also coming out as well. And with respect to a lot of the contract that the company is also working very closely on the business development front, I think there's a lot of good bullish momentum that's going to push the stock higher going forward. So for me, I think right now is definitely an optimal price level to get in right now at $23 level, knowing that there is just a really strong resistance level. If it goes down further to like the $22, $21 level, I will keep buying. And if it goes down to like this $20 level, which you see that happened in the March crash, and that was like a one-time thing that hit that all the way at the bottom 2018. I don't foresee us to hit it to go back to the $20 level anytime soon. I think unless it's like some major black swan events that happens or something that fundamentally shift the business model going forward, but I don't foresee that to be happening. um, so so that's the technical analysis ranks right here. You could see that for Palantir, I think Wall Street still don't really know how to price this stock at the moment, because the stock is such a unique unicorn, if you may, that is so mysterious that the business model is not that definitive for most people. I personally believe that there's huge upside potential for this business, and I think the average price point for $25 is way undervalued. You can see that with the 8 analyst ratings, 2 buy, 2 hold, 4 sell, and I think that after the demo dates coming up and the earnings, as we learn more about the business, as you know, Wall Street gain more acceptance into this business, we're gonna see a relatively drastic price target adjustments for these numbers here. Um, and just looking at the institutional ownerships, you could see that ever since the dip that we've been experiencing ever since the beginning of Q1. A lot of hedge funds or institutional investors have been investing heavily, you know, buying major shares of these of Palantir, um, and also and they have been buying, you know, every single day. I would say you could say that for the past couple months, ever since the beginning of the year. And also looking at the ARK Invest, which you know is they have been building a relatively sizable position into Palantir currently with about, you know, on their ARK K fund they have like 14 million shares, um, and on their ARK W fund they have 5 million shares. And then you can see that they have been building ever since. You know, you can see that the price has been kind of on a decline for the past couple weeks and months. And taking a look at the chart right here, this can probably give you a better visualization of how they're buying so far. And you can see that they've been buying pretty aggressively. So looking at the chart right here, gray line is basically the price point, and the purple line is basically the number of shares that they have. You can see that on aggregate, the purple line, they have been buying pretty aggressively ever since the sell-off that we've been experiencing. And look at the ARKW fund as well. You can see that they're relatively flat, at about 5 million shares in aggregate so far. RK has been increasing quite substantially, so they are loading up on the Palantir stock, which is a great sign that, you know, that institutions are accepting this, and ARK Invest and Kathy Wood, they, you know, they have a strong team of research analysts, and they know something we don't know, and you know, the word speaks for it. I mean, just the amount of money that they're putting in, you know, the skin that they have into this company is substantial. So that tells you a lot. That's a great bullish catalyst that we foresee going forward as well. Lastly, I have my price target for as a summary for this video. Currently, I think Palantir is trading at a fair valuation, 23.50 as an entry price point. I think if you get in at 23.50, I would sleep very well at night. If you know, if we ever hit down to the 22.50 level, which you know, as I mentioned to you in the technical analysis, this is a strong resistance level that we have right now. That will be, you know, I would grab a couple of shares as well. If we ever hit that 2050 again, which we saw that in the March crash, that's the steal for me. And I think I would load up again if that happens. And I actually did when that happened in a couple weeks ago. But I don't foresee that to be happening, you know, unless again, right, fundamentally the company have shifted or something like a black swan event that happened, right? And my end of year price target is going to be $55, which will give you 134% or two times or 2.5 times your money, which is you know, a very good return in my opinion. Hope you guys enjoyed the video on Palantir. I hope you guys learned something as well. I know I did. And please feel free to subscribe, hit the like button and the bell notification below to get notifications when I'm posting. I plan on posting about 2 to 4 times a week, so stay tuned, and hope to see you again.